of Iyanla Fix My Life, Saturday night, 9 p.m. only on OWN. So this week, I really wanted to talk about what it means to do the work. You know, my favorite saying is, you got to do the work. But who wants to work? We don't want to work. We want to play. We want to have fun. We want the greatest amount of pleasure and the least amount of pain in life. So we don't always know how to, and even when we know how to, we don't always do what it is that we need to do. So here on the Endless Fixins, we take a look at those places that may be difficult, challenging for us to move through. We look at them, we talk about them, we examine them, and hopefully we can fix some of that stuff. So if you want to participate with us tonight, you can leave your question in the description box, right, or the Q&A section, and leave your name, and also put hashtag Iyanla's Fixins, hashtag Iyanla's Fixins, and then we'll be able to invite you into the process with us. We have two guests tonight. They're not with me yet, but we will bring them in very, very soon. I want to talk about doing the work. When I say doing the work, what does that mean? What does it mean to do the work on yourself? Well, like I said, nobody wants to work. We want to play. We want to have fun in life. We don't want to do the hard stuff. But when it comes to living and learning and growing, the work refers to what it is that you have to do within yourself so that you have the best of you in all your world. The work means understanding what you do, how you do it, why you do it, and what you get as a result. And most of us have to do work on the things that we do and the way that we be, the way we think, the way we feel, that creates negativity, chaos, conflict, confusion, failure, all of the stuff that we don't want to be bothered with. We have to do the work within ourselves to clean that up. Here is a principle. Write this down. Everything is energy. Every thought you have, every word you speak, every emotion you experience creates energy. And energy cannot be destroyed. It will exist. Once it's created, it will always exist. Now, energy can be altered or transformed, but it cannot be destroyed. So the work that we have to do is to make sure that we are not holding or harboring toxic energy. Because the trauma that you had back in the first grade, when you spelled the word wrong and everybody in the class laughed, that is still in your body. It's still somewhere in your body. The fear that you experienced when you got chased down the street by the little puppy and you thought was going to eat your head off, that fear, if you haven't released it, if you haven't healed it, it's still in your body. Now, you may not recognize it, but when you go to start a new project, move into a new relationship, get a new job, save for that house, those energies, that fear, that shame or guilt or sadness or whatever you're hiding, holding on into your body, it'll come up when you least want it, when you least expect it. And then what that looks like is, oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I procrastinate. Oh, I never do what I say I'm going to do. And when in fact what it is the energy that we've been holding on to rising up in our body. So our work is about making sure that we are not holding, hiding, harboring negative energy in our minds, in our hearts, in our environment. Trauma. Many of us have had trauma in our life. And the way that we can define trauma is something that's unexpected, something that creates a traumatic impact or shock on the body that usually leaves us feeling alone and powerless. Those things, that energy is locked in the body. But how does it show up today if the trauma was when you were 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old? So the work, we've got to do the work. The First level of work we can do is so easy. In fact, we do it all of the time. We just don't do it consciously, and we don't do it in a way that helps us heal. The first level of work is learning how to breathe. We think we do it every day, but most of us breathe backwards. Conscious breathing means that you fill your lungs and your cells with oxygen, and that you then release that breath into the universe, taking the toxins with it. It'll disperse. There's much more room out here than there is in there. But most of us, when we breathe, we suck in the air, we hold our chest and our stomach up, and then when we release the air, we let it out halfway. Conscious breathing means that when you inhale, your diaphragm and your lungs expand, and when you exhale, they relax. So conscious breathing is out and in. Now, what does that do? It slows the mind. It regulates the heartbeat. Many of us, the work that we have to do is learn how to breathe, because whenever we're having a traumatic event, a confusing event, a fearful event, this is what we do. Woo! We stop breathing. And all of that energy gets trapped in our body. Everybody can breathe. That is your first step, learning how to breathe, so that you can be fully present in every single part of your being. Here's another level of work that we have to do. We have to start getting honest about our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, and our behaviors. Have you ever watched someone say something or do something and say to them, "Now, why did you do that?" They said, "I didn't do that." "Yeah, you did." "No, I didn't." "Yeah, you did." Why? Because so many of us feel that if we acknowledge what it is that we do, we'll be wrong. And nobody wants to be wrong, particularly women. We will go to our grave refusing to admit that we were wrong about anything. Okay? Men, they just ignore you. But we've got to be clear about what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we're doing, what we are believing, because each of those things creates energy on our internal landscape, and the work that we have to do becomes about clearing that out. Do you really know what motivates you to want money, to want a relationship? Do you really understand how you behave when you're angry, when you're afraid? Do you really get who it is that excites you and motivates you, and who it is that sucks the energy and the life out of you? But more than just knowing, why? Why is that? Is there a dormant energy in you that makes it difficult for you to be clear about what you think, what you feel, what you do, and why you do it? That's the work. This is the work that we're talking about. So before we have our first guest, I want to give you what I call the triple A's. Here's the work, triple A. And you know, when you're stuck in the street at midnight, your car's broke down, or you run out of gas, or the battery dies, you have to call triple A. And they will come and pick you up and get you to where you need to be, or fix whatever is going on with your car. So I want to give you the triple A's of doing your personal internal work. Number one, acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is the first step toward healing. You have to acknowledge what you do. You got to know what your thing is. Everybody's got a thing. And we have to call a thing a thing. We have to acknowledge it. What is your thing? Is your thing a big old dragon? Is it just a little cat that scratches? Is it a little bat that flaps around? Your thing is that nasty, mean, ugly thing you do. Instead of acknowledge, you know what? I made a mistake. You know what? I really don't know how to do this. You know what? I need more time. You know what? I really don't like that. Acknowledgement is the first step toward healing. That's your first A. Your second A, accept. Acceptance is the second A. Accept that there are some parts of you that need healing. There's some parts of you that need growing, stretching. There's some parts of you that are powerful and beautiful, and there are some parts of you that are just wretched. But if you don't acknowledge it, you'll never be able to accept it. And if you don't accept it, you'll never be able to heal it. Everybody has a thing that they do, a way that they be, a habit or a belief that shows up in every single aspect of their life. What is your thing? Acknowledge it and accept it. The third A is to begin to become aware when what you've acknowledged and what you've accepted is operating. Acknowledgement, acceptance, awareness. Or you can do awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance. It's the triple A's. You've got to know those things. Nobody needs to be more aware of what you do than you do. You have to be aware of what makes you angry, what makes you happy, what makes you feel good, what doesn't make you feel good, who makes you feel good, who doesn't. Now, just knowing it is one thing. That's awareness. But now you've got to dig down and acknowledge why. This is the work. This is what we have to do. And what makes the work hard, what gets us stuck, what makes us procrastinate is when we become resistant to the work. When we become resistant to acknowledging or accepting or becoming aware of who we are and what we do and why we do it. That's what makes the work hard. So, just to summarize, learn how to breathe out and in. When you inhale, expand your lungs. Take the oxygen in. On the exhale, let the lungs deflate. And if you did that just 3 minutes in the morning, you'd be surprised how clear your mind would be. The second step to doing the work, awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance, or acknowledgement, awareness, acceptance, or acceptance, however you want to mix it up. Make your own stew with it. Just acknowledge what you do, accept what you do, and become aware of when you're doing it. And then we can dig down and understand why you're doing it. Yes! Is that good? I know you got some questions out there. So shall we take a question or shall we take our guest? I'm just waiting for my tech people to see me. Oh, there are my questions. How exciting and delighting is that? Okay. Is that who I'm looking at? That's my question. All right. I hope you can hear me out there. Hope sound is good. Somebody send me a hashtag Iyanla Fixins and say, I can hear you. So this question says, I have realized that I played the other woman for my father and brothers. Oh, this is going to be juicy. I would tell... Okay, I lost that. That's it? Oh. I would tell my ex-husband that he wasn't intimate, but now I realize that it was me that was unavailable. That is called awareness. That is called acknowledgement. Yay, that's a good one. This is Christy Love. I realized that it was me who wasn't available. How do I grow up and get my own relationship and be available for love and intimacy? Well, beloved, your work will be about understanding, recognizing, becoming aware of, acknowledging and accepting your beliefs about intimacy. What does it mean to be intimate with someone? And I always define intimacy as into me see. And when you're close to someone and when you're in relationship with someone, they're going to see all of the cruddy little parts. They're going to see your thing. They're going to see the good parts and the bad parts. But here's something. If people can get close to you to really see who you are, they'll probably like you anyway. So what you've got to do, beloved, is you've got to get clear about your fear about intimacy. What it is you tell yourself will happen if people get close enough to see you and know you. Now, someplace back there where there's an energy of you having an intimate experience with someone that didn't turn out well. Might have been a best friend, could have been your first boyfriend, could have been a parent, I don't know. That's your work, to understand what it is that led you into the fear of intimacy. Once you do that, you'll be open and available. For all of us out there who have issues with intimacy, here's something I want you to acknowledge. When you get in a relationship, do you get busy? Do you get sick? Do you get a million of other things to do? That might be a fear of intimacy. Remember, if people get close enough to really see you, they'll probably like you anyway. The question is, do you like you? Do you like you? That's a good question. Yeah. Now, we let me take another question, and then we're going to go to our guest. How about that? Mm-hmm. Here's a question. Hello, Iyanla. Hello. Is that Rise Williams? Hi. I know that I want to make a change in my life. Howsoever, I know my parents, those close to me, etc., may not be approving. How do I make decisions without upsetting, getting disapproval from others with my choices that I make? I don't know how old you are, but if you're over 18, and if you pay your own rent, and if you drive your own car and you pay your own bills, and even if you don't, if you're over 18, you are the only one who gets to say what goes on in your life. And your work, beloved, would be about understanding what makes you think that other people have to agree with what you choose to do in your life. If you're still looking for parental approval or daddy's acknowledgement or mommy's happiness or whatever, I don't know, that's your work. You have to understand for yourself what it is you tell yourself will happen to you in your life if people disapprove with the choices you make. I don't even know what else to say about that. It's your life. Choose to do what you will. Now, what I'm hearing is I'll be alone, they'll get upset, they won't love me anymore. Number one human fear, losing the love of the people that we love, losing their love, losing their respect. Number one fear. So your work is about really unpacking that fear, about what is it that will happen to you in your life if your parents, you said parents, and those close to you don't agree with what you're doing. Why do you even have to tell them? Do you have to announce to people what you're doing? And do you have to give them a vote in your plan? I don't think so. Mm-mm. You are the chairman of the board of your life. Everybody has to agree with you or kick them off the board. I like that. That'll be good. You serve in every position on the board. How about that? All righty. Now we have a guest. And who's our first guest, Navarro?
Aaliyah Horton.
Aaliyah Horton. Now let me see where Aaliyah is. I have to look this way so I can see Aaliyah.
I'm right here.
There you are. I see you. Wave at me.
I gotta lean
Hi,
to one
Aaliyah.
side to wave.
There
Hi.
you are. Oh, we have the same hairdo.
Yes, twinsies.
Listen, I don't see any of my books on your shelf.
Well, these are all cookbooks. The other books are to the side.
Listen, you're supposed to be doing commercials for me. Who is that lovely man up there in that picture?
That's the hubby.
That's your hubby.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the work you have to do, Aaliyah?
Okay, well, definitely have issues with consistency. I've been very successful in achieving my goals, but it ends up being in fits and spurts. So
What does that mean? Fits and spurts.
Fits and spurts. I was looking to make a change at work and to get a certification and lose weight and do a number of things that I was trying to accomplish. I got through it. I was studying an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. I have 2 children, a pretty busy job, but I worked. I studied every day, got to that exam, took the exam, and was exhausted. I passed. I got my certification, which I was happy about. I was working out at the same time, lost about 20 pounds after having the last baby. and so things are going well. And once I achieve where I'm getting, once I achieve what I was trying to get to, I then am just exhausted. I'm spent. And then it takes me a long time to get back going to achieve the next goal. And so I don't feel like have that train going.
So when do you get to enjoy what you've accomplished? See, I make a distinction between accomplishment and achievement. See, for me, achievement is something you do externally to be validated by others. And accomplishment is something that you desire and grow through yourself for your own personal satisfaction. So my question becomes, when do you get to enjoy what it is that you do? Because I hear you saying achievements, which says to me you're doing it for some kind of external validation as opposed to an internal sense of satisfaction. And maybe that's why you jump from one thing to the other or don't get things done, because you're not being satisfied. You are fulfilling a goal perhaps, or you are achieving something that's validating you, but you're not fulfilled and satisfied. Does that make sense?
It actually does. It really does.
And can I ask you another question? What are you going for? What are you going for? Lose 20 pounds, get certification, new body, grow your hair, clean the teeth, fresh your breath, fluffy your eyelashes. What are you really going for? What is it?
That's what I do. Maybe I don't know, because that's exactly what I do.
So I want you to clutch your pearls right now, because I'm getting ready to blow you right out the border.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you got them? Are you clutching?
Okay.
Clutching tight?
Yes.
Beloved, this is an issue of value and worth. That you're doing, seeking validation, as opposed to allowing your values to guide and govern and drive you to what it is that you want. This is an issue of value and worth. And whenever you have an issue of value, meaning what it is that I expect for myself, from myself, that's value. And worth is what it is that I expect from the world based on who I am. And if you think you have to prove your worth with achievements, you'll never get that sense of fulfillment. So I want to offer that maybe some of the work that you have to do is get clear about your values. What matters to you? Does it really matter to you if you're 20 pounds lighter? Does that really matter? Does it?
Yeah, yes.
Really? So then, if it really matters to you that you're 20 pounds lighter, tell me about the fulfillment that you had once you accomplished that.
Well, I felt great. My mind was clear. Well, I will say, here's the other thing that I have a problem with. I'm like a cat. There's something glittery, I jump at it.
External.
Yeah.
External.
And so, I had gotten there, had gotten to where I wanted to be, was happy with that, feeling good, and I think I had a business trip or something, and just got off track, and just never really got back on. So. And that's extended.
Again, I want to offer you that you get clear about what matters to you, and really only do what matters. I got enough degrees that if I glued them all together and put them around my neck, I could hang myself. But when I'm really in a jam, when I'm really needing something, none of those degrees matter to me. They really don't matter. It doesn't matter to me. They may matter to you, or they may be a stepping stone toward another part of your vision. But I would offer, get clear about what matters to you and go for what matters to you. Also, get really clear about who you are and what you bring to the table so that you don't have to constantly prove how great and wonderful and smart and everything that you are, because that hole can never be filled. That is a pit dug by the ego that just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. There's never enough external validation to fill your worth cup. Never. And the other thing that I would say is do what brings you joy. Because all of this work, like I said, who wants to work? We don't want
I
to work.
don't.
Yeah. You do? You
No,
say you
sometimes
do?
when I'm exhausted. No, I think that's why I'm so tired. 'Cause I don't want to do all
Yeah.
that work. I don't.
But you know,
Yeah.
you see, when you work or when you are, here's the question. Do you drive or are you driven? You see, when you drive your life, it's an external, it's an internal force. When you drive, you
Mhm.
let your values and what matters to you and your peace of mind and your family or your the things that bring you joy, you let that drive you. You drive that. But when you're driven, it's external. And you could be anywhere. They could have you in a hoopty running you across the railroad track and the train is coming. You got to really get clear. Am I going to drive my life or am I going to allow myself to be driven? That's your work.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay?
Hmm.
Thank you, Aaliyah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Good points there that Aaliyah has made for us. So many of us are driven, but we don't know what's driving us, what's pushing us, what's motivating us. It's that next thing. If I just do that next thing, I'll have it. And if I get this one thing, I'll be better. And if I, and like she said, you get there and you're exhausted and you're not fulfilled and you're not satisfied. The work is getting clear, beloved, about what matters to you. What matters to you? And this is what I tell women all the time, men too, when they write me about, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. And you know, I know people said I'm harsh and cold and mean, and I said, no, you don't. Because if you wanted to lose weight, you would lose weight.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter to you. You think you're supposed to be a size 5. Nobody wears their tags or their clothes on the outside. As long as there's a size bigger than the one you wear, and as long as you're healthy, stop it. You're not walking around with your tag hanging outside so people can see the size of your clothes. Are you healthy? Do you feel good in your body? And if you don't, then choose to do something about it. Don't make it about losing weight. Make it about getting healthy. And if that doesn't spur you on, the hard, cold truth that you need to acknowledge is my health doesn't matter to me. Because if it did, I would do something about it. Because you know what? If you had a free ticket to go see Beyonce and you didn't have no shoes, you'd find some shoes to get to that concert to use that free ticket. So don't tell me you can't lose 20 pounds, 15, whatever it is. Does it matter to you? Or are you just doing it for the validation externally? Ooh, that's a good one. Let me go back to a question. Hi from New Zealand, Anna Knight. I understand from ACIM, A Course in Miracles. Anna, why you got to be asking me deep questions? That our bodies are temples for our holiness. Okay, this is a good question. And how our holiness can't shine when we don't look after our bodies. Now, I don't know if you got that from ACIM because ACIM's, A Course in Miracles says that the body is the tool of the ego, that the body is the tool of the ego, and that's what the ego uses to keep us separate. It's the Bible that says our bodies are holy and temples and we should take care of it. But anyway, that's my memory. I'm old, pay me no mind. I know what I need to do, but I seem to be in constant battle with my ego. Please help. It doesn't matter to you. And that's okay. Acceptance, remember? Acknowledgement. My body really doesn't matter to me. I know that's hard. And your mind will tell you, yes, it does. But if it did, if you really understood how precious and holy and sacred this temple was, it wouldn't be a problem. What about your car? How about many of us treat our cars better than we treat our bodies? We got shoes and dresses and televisions and computers and cell phones. We're very conscious about where we put our cell phones, but we'll stop at any greasy spoon and put anything in our mouth. Because somewhere in here, it really doesn't register that we're holy. that we are holy and that this is a temple. And it's not just about the ego. It's about really understanding who you are and making a choice to do it. And the other thing, Anna, is if you can be really, really good to your body for 3 days and then wretched for the other four, I'll take the three. And you can grow that three into four and into five. But the change has to take place in here. That this is my temple, that I am holy. Now that's what the Course in Miracles says. I am as God created me to be. I am very, very holy. That's what the Course says. The question becomes, do you believe it? So your work, Adam, may be about learning to believe that I am very, very holy and that this body temple allows me to live my holiness. So I want to take it serious. But your work may be about understanding why you don't. You're not alone. Just like me. Just like me. Staying up 18 hours a day, waiting till 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon to eat. I've done it. Been there. Okay? So get clear about your relationship with your body. Not with the ego, with the body. And your relationship with your holiness. And once you get that aligned and really understand who you are as God created you to be, it should shift for you. And if not, write me again. How about that? Let me go to another question. Thank you so much for everybody who's just coming in. Hi, Miss Iyanla. Hello, this is Elizabeth T. Hi, Miss Elizabeth T. I come from a family of abuse. It was a secret abuse, and no one else knows about those who abuse me. How can I find inner peace and let go of my abusive past? Well, here's something, Miss Elizabeth. The past has already let you go. The only place it exists is in your mind. So the work you have to do is understanding how does it serve you to continue to hold yourself in the past. I mean, you're not being abused now. Are those people who abused you then, do they still have control and access to you? And if not, then it's about you. And something about holding on to the past serves you. We don't do anything that doesn't have a benefit. And maybe the benefit is, as long as you see yourself as abused, you don't have to take responsibility for your power. Maybe it's that as long as you blame others or hold others responsible for what they did to you, you don't have to hold yourself responsible for what you are doing now. I was abused, so I can't do this. You don't have to be accountable for your power, for your holiness, for your greatness, for your dreams, for your vision. Why? Because you were abused. So your work is really understanding how you are now hustling your abuse. And I don't say that lightly. I want you to really understand what I'm saying. How does you being an abused person today keep you from your holiness, your greatness, your power, and everything you want? The other thing about abuse, Miss Elizabeth and everybody else, the only way to heal abuse, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, is forgiveness. That's your work. Forgiveness. Forgive everybody for everything, starting with you. And after you forgive you, forgive God. Because I guarantee you, if there's an abuse experience in your life, some part of you, somewhere, blames God. Work with that. Good. Let's go to another question, and we're going to go to our other guest who's been so patient. All righty. Here's a question from Allison. Okay, Allison. I can't see what that says. I love what you say about holiness to the rescue. Oh, yes. Holiness to the rescue. There is a line in A Course in Miracles that says, there is nothing my holiness cannot do. You see, my brokenness can't accomplish it, but my holiness can. My abused self can't accomplish it, but my holiness self can. Myself that didn't finish college can't accomplish it, but my holiness can. There is nothing that my holiness cannot do. Holiness to the rescue. Oh, I love it. Oh, let me get the question. Allison Smeller. I was just having a little preach there for a moment. Yes, what I struggle with is letting go of the outcomes. Control. Your work is trust and surrender. Trust and surrender. Trust and surrender. I have an exercise. Okay, everybody out there, everybody who's looking, I want you to do this. Palms together, palms open. Palms together, palms open. Palms together, palms open. Just do it. Palms together, palms open. Just follow my voice. Palms together, palms open. 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 Right knee, left leg. Oh, that was a knee. Right hand, right hand, left leg, left hand, right leg. Palms together, palms open, palms together, palms open, palms together. Right ear, right cheek. Why I keep saying ear? Right hand, right cheek. Left hand, left cheek. Right hand, right leg, left hand, left leg. Palms together, palms open, palms together, palms open, palms together, palms open, palms together, palms open. Left leg, left knee, right hand, right knee. Right hand, right ear, left hand, left ear. Palms together, palms open, palms together. Just practice that. Just keep doing it.
I can't keep up.
Because what it will do is teach you to surrender. Because there's going to come a moment when you mix up the instructions or you forget what somebody is saying. You're not in control. Holding on to the outcomes is control. Your work is to understand what it is you tell yourself what that will happen if you're not in control and if things don't look the way you want them to look. Yours is an issue of faith and trust. Let me see what else the question says. I listen to the soft, kind, holy voice inside, and I trust the next right step. No, you don't. See, first of all, anytime you are diagnosing the problem, you got a problem. Self-diagnosis is misdiagnosis. Always. Self-diagnosis is misdiagnosis. You say to me, I struggle with letting go of the outcomes, but I listen to the Holy Spirit. Can't be. Because the Holy Spirit only informs you on a need-to-know basis. The Holy Spirit doesn't say, do this and that'll happen. The Holy Spirit will say, do this, do this, do this. And if you take those steps, you'll get to where you're supposed to be. You don't know where that is because the Holy Spirit tells on a need-to-know basis. I struggle with wanting to control the outcome. There you go. I already said that. Faith and trust. Palms together, palms open, palms together, palms open, palms together, palms open, palms together, palms open. Right hand, right knee, left hand, left knee, right hand, right ear, left hand, left ear, right hand, right knee, right hand, left hand, left knee, palms together, palms open, palms together, palms open. Did you catch up? That's how life is. Everybody's just trying to get their palms together and their hands on their knees or their ears. Let it go. Trust and faith. We've got another guest coming in. Yeah. And this is Daphne, yes? Are you there,
Yes,
Daphne?
hi.
Hey, Daphne.
I'm here.
How are you? Good.
Very good.
So what is the work that you have to do, Daphne? Do you know what your work is?
I actually don't know what my work is.
Okay.
I've been through a series of losses in my life. First being my 10-week-old daughter,
Your what?
my 10-week-old infant daughter,
Okay.
and soon after I had a heart attack. And soon, 4 months after that, my husband left me and my twin boys.
Your husband left you where?
With my twin boys,
Okay.
7-year-old twin boys. And now we're in the process of losing our home. And I don't know how to restart life after all these losses.
What a powerful and divine growth and healing opportunity you are having. I know it doesn't feel like that, but what a powerful and divine growth and healing opportunity you are in. So, what have you learned about Daphne in this process? What have you learned?
That I have a lot of anger.
Ah.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Are you assuming that the anger came after the losses, Or are you aware that the anger was present before any of this happened?
I am aware that it was present before.
Okay, good. What else have you learned about Daphne as you go through this powerfully divine healing and growth opportunity that are cleverly disguised as losses? Cleverly disguised.
I naively and gave my life to a man that I shouldn't have trusted for a long time.
That's a story. That's a story. I naively gave my life. No, you didn't give your life to anybody. You made a choice that had unpleasant consequences. You made a choice that had unpleasant consequences. If you've ever done that, raise your hand out there. Hands up. Hashtag Iyanla's Fixins. You made a choice that had unpleasant consequences. Oops. Don't get caught in the story. Your work is to get out of the story. What could you call your daughter's transition other than a loss to you? Is there any other possibility that you can think of?
It's really hard. I think I just got to the point where I acknowledge that I'm hurt by her not being here.
You'd what?
I've just gotten to the point where I acknowledge that she's gone because I
Yeah,
had to pack up her room.
yeah. Listen, I buried a child, so I do know how difficult that is. So the only thing I can tell you about that is mother to mother. And your daughter was 10 weeks old. My daughter was 31 years old. The only thing that I can tell you about that, beloved, is time will make it better. You can't rush it. You can't change it. Time will make it better. That's all I can tell you. And the other thing that I can tell you that helped me a lot to move through that challenging time was something that I believe the Holy Spirit said to me to help end my suffering. And the Holy Spirit said to me, your daughter's life was not your business. It was God's business.
Wow.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I tell you what, it ended my suffering immediately. I never had another day of sorrow because as bad as I am and as bold as I am and as gorgeous as I am, I ain't trying to get in God's business. Not me. Now you might want to do that if you want to. I got that. I got right up out of God's business. Doesn't mean I didn't miss her and I didn't love her. Doesn't mean I still at some time in the midnight hour didn't have some whys. But that statement that your daughter's life was not your business. It was God's business. Ooh, I'm healed. I'm healed. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Now, if you have a commitment to suffer, if you have a commitment to suffer because you think as a mother and a woman you should feel sad and sorrowful about the loss of your daughter, then you'll continue to be sad and sorrowful. Because I'm telling you, that healed me immediately. But you
Wow.
really have to get to the point where as a woman and a mother you can say, yeah, that's right. What a blessing
Yeah.
that I had her for 10 weeks. And her leaving here was God's business. Now, in terms of the choosing a man and having unpleasant consequences as a result of that choice, what did you learn about Daphne in the process?
I feel like I learned that I lose myself in relationships.
Let's make that a past tense instead of a state of being. I learned that I have in the past Lost myself in relationships. Oops, I won't do that anymore. Oops.
So
Is there
it's almost
any
a
woman out
fear of
there? Huh?
there's
Say it
almost a
again.
fear now. There's almost a fear now of making choices now for me and my children because I'm
Well,
afraid of the.
then your work is about surrendering the fear. If you make a bad choice, what'll happen?
I don't know.
Well, make it up. You make up everything else. Go ahead. You made up all this other stuff, so go ahead. If I make another bad choice, what'll happen is what?
Wow. I'm not sure.
Well, if you make a good choice, what'll happen?
I'm not sure of that outcome either.
Well, then there are no guarantees, Daphne. You want guarantees. There are no guarantees. So you can stay stuck in limbo, afraid to make a good choice, afraid to make a bad choice, or you can move forward knowing that this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing, one step at a time. You got to eat the elephant one bite at a time and don't start at the butt. Don't start at the hard part. Start at the easy part. What's the ear? What's the first decision you have to make right now that will move you forward? What would that be?
Um,
Can I
I
give you
think
one?
I think I need to choose to forgive because it's holding me back from co-parenting properly with my ex.
Okay. Can I give you a one to consider? Forgiveness is certainly one you have to do. But can I give you one to consider?
Sure.
A choice you have to make right now? The struggle is over. I no longer choose to struggle with anybody about anything at any time in any situation or circumstance. The struggle's over. I'm not struggling. Oh, ooh, that looked like struggle. I can't do that. Let me surrender. Not struggling.
Wow.
I'm just not sure. Oh, wait a minute. This is a struggle. Here, you got it. I'm not. The struggle is over. How about that?
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
Or are you committed to sorrow and suffering? That's your work, Daphne. Get out of God's business, give up the struggle, and figure out whether or not you are committed to sorrow and suffering. That's your work.
Wow. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I bet you won't be calling me no time soon, will you? But Daphne, thank you, Daphne. Listen,
Thank you so much.
thank you, beloved. When people are afraid to make a wrong decision, I say, well, what would happen if you make a right decision? They can't even fathom that because some of us have a commitment and an expectation to failure. Just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it won't happen. And just because it happened before doesn't mean it will happen again. Give yourself a break. That's your work. Stop dragging up the past. Give yourself a break. And when you're talking about, well, I tried that before and it didn't work. And just as Daphne said, in the past, I lose myself in men in relationship, but I'm better now. The struggle's over. That's a good affirmation. I think I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. I think I'm going to make a line of t-shirts. Holiness to the rescue. And in the past, I used to. I'm healed now. Would you buy one of those t-shirts?
I buy hashtag the struggle's over.
Yeah, the struggle is over. Make that choice right now. But also understand, remember, acknowledgement, awareness, acceptance. Some of us are committed to the struggle. We married the struggle. We have struggle clothes. We got a struggle hat. We put on struggle nail polish because as long as we're struggling, we don't have to take responsibility for creating what we want. We get to say, see, I'm trying, I'm working, oh, I'm struggling. It's so hard. It's so, no, holiness to the rescue. There is nothing your holiness cannot do. Stop struggling and let the holiness flow through you. But it won't flow through you unless you breathe. Let me go to a question. Good question. I am proud of my accomplishments. Good. This is F. Hodges. I'm good. Accomplishments, internal, not achievements, external. I'm proud of my accomplishments, but my husband says I lack vision. Okay. Do you lack vision? Do you? Okay. I have a degree, external, my own business, external, work part-time, external, and raise our two children, kids, full-time, external. At this point, the lack of potential he sees in me is affecting me. How can I find and create peace? Have you asked him what he means by that? Because he's talking about vision. It may be an internal thing. I see a lot of doing here. What about your being? Have you asked your husband, what does that mean that I lack vision? Tell me what you see. And don't do it with your hands on your hips and your head rolling. Okay? Say, oh, you know what, sweetie? What does that mean when you say I lack vision? And what would it look like if I had one? Ask him. Because maybe he's seeing something that you're not seeing. Don't hear it as an attack. This is your husband. This is your boo. Maybe he's trying to tell you something that you are not aware of. Remember your triple A's, acknowledgement, acceptance, awareness. He may be aware of something that you're not. So instead of hearing it as something you're not doing, ask him what he means. And ask him what it would look like if you had a vision. And ask him how he thinks you can get one. Because based on this, all of your achievements, because that's all external. A degree and a business and a part-time job. Why would you have a business and a part-time job? Let me get out your business. Anyway, ask him what he means. And hear him here and not here. Hear him with your heart. Ask him what it means. Okay? We've got we've got lots of yummy questions here. All righty. Currently answering. From the ground up coaching. What does that mean? Is that your name? I have worked very hard to find my truth. I've done the work. Really? I wish I could say that, but when you really do the work, you die. Because we're here to do the work. Doesn't mean you haven't done some work. Anyway, let me read the question. What I found, however, is that I'm constantly resisting allowing myself to feel joyful by letting my work, relationships, finances dominate my thoughts. How do I get past this? Because again, you are, what would happen if you just let yourself play? See, I think I got it right here. I've done the work, and you're still doing the work. When do you play? How do you play? How do you feel good? What do you do that's just for you? That's just for you. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't benefit anybody. That doesn't make anybody any money. What do you do that's just for you? Find time to do that. Make time to do that. And deal with the discomfort that comes up as you do that. That's your work. Do what brings you joy. All right, we've got time for 2 more questions. Let me get them here. Hi, Iyanla. Hello, Tessa Adams. What are the ways that I can connect with people who may not feel like they can really learn anything new or are rigid in their personality? Run! Run for your life! Why are you trying to convince some rigid, crazy people that what you know or feel or want is good for them? If they want to be rigid and stuck, leave them rigid and stuck. There are plenty of us out here that are loose and flowy. We in the flow. Come with us. Come be with us. Leave them people alone. But see, this is a challenge when we judge that where people are is not where they need to be or should be. And then we want to sprinkle our knowledge and information upon them so that they will shift. That's a judgment. Your work is to heal your judgments. Leave them people alone. Love them just like they are where they are and keep flowing with us. Okay? One more question. I think we have time for one more question. Hi, Iyanla. How do I stop being the good girl? This is Haitian Phoenix. What a beautiful name. How do I stop being the good girl, people pleaser, so people will love me and stay? Oh, my Lord. When I can't keep up the charade anymore, I stop and they leave anyway. Because, beloved, people fall in love with who you're not. When you're not being authentic in your life, people fall in love with who you're not. And then when they see who you are, they feel betrayed. Your work is understanding that who you are, as you are, is enough. And is loving, lovable, and worthy of love. Why do you hide who you are? Now, if there's work that you need to do to feel gooder and better, yes, I said gooder, to feel gooder and better about yourself, do your work. Do your work. To strip away all of the disappointments and angers and hurts and upsets with yourself. Do your work. But stay out of relationships until you understand that who you are, as you are, is enough. Otherwise, people fall in love with who you're not. And then when they see you, they feel betrayed and they'll leave. And you've also got an expectation in there to be left. Because you go into the relationship wondering, how long is this going to last? When are they going to leave? What am I going to do? Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, clean that up. So, do your work. Quick review. Learn how to breathe. Expanding and contracting. Breathe consciously. Shutting the mind down, stilling the ego, regulating the heart. Learn how to breathe. Practice acknowledgement, acceptance, and awareness. Acknowledge what you do, what you feel, who you are. Become aware of how that shows up and accept the pieces and parts of you. Your thing. Everybody got a thing. An ugly thing, a big thing, a little thing, an ugly, nasty thing that they do. Understand that the struggle is over. Make that commitment. Make that commitment. Get out of God's business. Get into your life and just refuse to struggle. Acknowledge what it is that you do. Get clear about your achievements and your accomplishments. Achievements are external, accomplishments are internal, and lead to satisfaction and fulfillment. So that's our work tonight. Be sure to join me Saturday night, 9 p.m. on OWN for Iyanla Fix My Life. And right here again next week for Iyanla's Fixins, where we will be talking about alienation of affection. What happens when someone you really love just plain old refuses to love you back? What do you do with that? How do you deal with that? I don't know. Well, we're going to talk about it. Let me not say I don't know, because then y'all won't come to the fixins. I just cracked my own self up. Anyway, have a blessed and beautiful week. Thank you for joining me. In the meantime, be blessed.